system.
Well, here's the problem, and this is the argument I make. It's called the argument from divine value. Okay.
Okay.
I'm making this. I'll put this argument to you. I said this before and speaking before, but I'm going to say it again. You see this tree behind you right there, yeah?
Tell him one more time.
I'm saying one more time. This tree behind you. Now, if I get this tree and I cut it up into little pieces, all right, it's a living tree.
Yeah.
Accepted. Now, you might think that's a reprehensible action. I don't know. Maybe you think it's okay. It's fine, depending on what the motivation is.
Yeah.
But now, if I get a small child from St. Mary's Hospital that's just been born,
I feel differently. Yeah.
and I cut that baby into little pieces, is it equivalent according to you, or is it different?
No, because you're contravening the will of the child, whereas the tree hasn't got a will.
Right, great. So what you've basically made is an attributional difference. That the child has some attribute that the tree doesn't have, which makes me transgressing against the rights of the child more reprehensible than me transgressing
Well, I don't think the tree has any rights, so it's not a problem.
No problem. Well, it's living, so I mean there are some similarities.
It doesn't cross the line for me. Yeah, it doesn't feel anything, so I don't care.
But did you say trees will communicate with each other?
Oh no, if the tree feels something, it's got rights. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
We can make the argument. But what I'm saying is that the difference between the tree and the baby is an attributional difference.
Yeah.
Now, what we are saying is when the object of transgression becomes infinite in its attribution quantity.
Hang on, stop. Sorry, just got to absorb that. That's a biggie. And for your viewers as well, that's going to be a biggie.
Welcome to my life.
Okay, fine. When the what? When the attribute.
You have subject and object.
Correct. Good.
Subject
Excellent.
is me.
Yeah.
Now, object is I'm holding my mobile phone.
Excellent.
So I'm doing something to the object.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm doing something to the tree is the object.
Correct.
If I'm doing something to the baby is the object.
And simultaneously a subject, which is why it has rights.
No, I am the subject and the baby is an object.
No, in that situation, you're both, ontologically, you are both subjects. And the reason that you're
doing something, if it's passive.
Yeah. And the reason that what you're doing is offensive is precisely because you're affecting another subject.
Oh, yeah,
if it was just, right, so we
I
agree.
meant in the grammatical term. There's subject and object in sentences, yeah?
I meant it ontologically, sorry.
So the one
I'm into the Cartesian divide of subject and object. I'm coming from that.
Just linguistically, like grammar.
Sorry, you meant grammar.
Yeah.
Apologies. Right.
Subject, object.
Okay.
I cut the tree. I am the subject, that is the object.
Apologies. Yes, you're right. It's grammatical. Sorry.
Right.
I thought you were being Cartesian.
No, that's what I mean by object. It's good that you asked.
Okay.
Now, if I am now, we said the difference between the tree and the baby is attributional. That the baby has attribute, which is in this case will, and the tree doesn't have. Now, I say, if that's the case, then the more of such attribute the object has, the more of a crime transgressing against the object is. And in this case, we say that God has an infinite level of, for example, power attribute, knowledge attribute, and so on. He's worthy of worship from our paradigm. And so transgressing against the ultimate in attributional quantity means that to you belongs the highest level of punishment. Because if I cut the tree into two pieces, I shouldn't be punished, I think you'd agree, in the same way if I cut the baby into two pieces. Because the object has more attribute. But with God, the attribute is so intense and is infinite in attributes, which means if I transgress against that object, which means I should be given the highest punishment, even if it's for a little bit of time.
The crime is done against infinite, the punishment is infinite.
Can I just take this on board now,
yes,
okay? Right, so the first conversation I had with Ali, I was surprised because I thought he balanced the two infinites, and I had to concede that, and I would have moved on to a discussion on determinism, because I think the negative overflowed to that. You've now hit me with a new thing, which I hadn't heard before, and I'm taking on board, right?